right, for this show, we're dealing with the order of operations. Question A is 4 minus 2 divided by 3/5. So in this question, we have two operations. We've got division and subtraction. According to BEDMAS, division is done before subtraction. So we're going to do the division first, and then we'll do the subtraction second. So we can leave the 4 minus in the original equation there. And then we're going to take a look at the 2 divided by 3/5. To deal with the division, we're actually going to do the reciprocal method. So we're going to flip the division, and it's going to become multiplication. And then we're going to flip the second value there, which is 3/5. So it's going to become 5/3. Now as well, we've got 2, which is a whole number, so we're going to write that as a fraction by putting it over top of a 1. So we've got 2 over 1 times 5 over 3. To do that, we multiply the tops, so we do 2 times 5, which is 10, and then we do 1 times 3 for the bottom, which is just 3. So now we have that original 4, which in fraction form we can write it as 4 over 1. And then we're subtracting the answer from up above, which is 10/3. Now to do subtraction, we must have a common denominator. So that means we look at the 1 and the 3 in the bottom there, and we decide, okay, well, we can use 3 as a common denominator. So the 10 over 3 is going to stay the same. The 4 over 1, it's over a 1, but we want it to be over a 3. So that means we have to multiply the bottom by 3. And if we're going to multiply the bottom by 3, then we have to multiply the top by 3 as well. So 4 times 3 becomes 12. And 1 times 3, of course, is 3. So now we've got 12 over 3 minus 10 over 3. We have a common denominator, which means we are allowed to do the subtraction now. The denominator stays the same. It does not change. It stays as a 3. And so then we do 12 minus 10, which gives us an answer of 2. So that means our final answer for part A is 2/3, and that is lowest term. So we've got it done, and we're good to go. So now let's take a look at part B. Here we've got 2 1/4 times 1/2 minus 5/8. So our two operations are multiply and subtract. According to BEDMAS, multiplication is done before subtraction. So we're going to do the multiplication first, and then we'll do the subtraction second. Now, before we get started, we've got a mixed number here. I'm going to convert that to a improper fraction first. So I'm going to take the 4, and I'm going to multiply it by the 2. So that gives me 8. And then the second step is to add 1 on top of that. So instead of 8, we have 9. And that becomes our new numerator. So 9 over 4. So 2 1/4 is equivalent to 9 over 4. So I'm just going to rewrite the whole thing. It's times 1/2 minus 5/8. So now I can attack that multiplication because that was the first thing that we need to deal with. And it's a lot easier to deal with an improper fraction than a mixed number. So to deal with that multiplication, we're going to multiply the tops of our two fractions. So 9 times 1 is 9. And then that is put over top of the bottoms. 4 times 2 is 8. So that becomes 9/8. Now, we can bring down the minus 5/8 from above. And we're left with 9/8 minus 5/8. Again, we happen to have a common denominator here, so we're allowed to do the subtraction, and that means it's going to be over 8. And so we take a look at the numerators. 9 minus 5. 9 minus 5 is simply 4. So now we have 4/8. To put that into lowest terms, I need to find the greatest common factor of 4 and 8. So I'm going to do that over here on the side. So greatest common factors of 4, we have 1, 2, and 4 are the factors of 4. And for 8, we've got 1, 2, 4, and 8 are my factors. The greatest common one here is going to be our 4. So I'm going to divide the top by 4 and the bottom by 4. And then that will give us 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that is our final answer on this one. It's 1/2. And that is your show you know.